Guys, how you doing? We've got another great guest today on Be Contagious. You may recognize this guy. He is Coach Ryan McCarthy, the head coach at Alaska Anchorage. Coach, man, I'm so glad you joined us.
Thank you.
I tell you, man, so we're in Dallas. We're at the Women's Final Four. And I've known Ryan for about 4 years. And you're talking about someone who's intense, who knows what he's talking about, and just gets after it, right? So Ryan, talk real briefly. You've been at Alaska 6 years.
This will be my 6th.
6 years. You've built a national program. I mean, at the end of the day, you built a coach that's unbelievable. Where does that come from?
You know, I think just from, my experiences as a player, and then, I was fortunate enough to play at all levels. And in college, I was, unfortunate or fortunate enough to have a coach, a different coach every year.
Right.
Four
Okay.
years. So 4 coaches in 4 years in college, and then, in high school there was a lot of turnover too. So the culture as a player, I wasn't ever really able to experience, and I heard about it, and it was something that was trying to be instilled every single year, and then changed again every single year. And so I knew that if I ever got into coaching, that was something that I wanted to have, to where it felt like a family. It felt like something that the players could come back to, and that it was something that was driven by winning.
Right.
And so that's what we've tried to establish at UAA. And over the I would say the last 3 years, it's really set in, and our ladies just really buy into it.
Right. Now, you've never had the culture in terms of high school and college. So did you learn on your own, or are different things in your life that you picked up? Maybe it was how you were raised. Like, where does the backbone come from that?
I think from hard work, and that is how I was raised. I grew up in Alaska until I was about 12, and then moved to Prineville, Oregon, which is a small little cowboy town in Central Oregon.
Blue collar stuff, right?
Blue
there,
collar,
man.
yeah. So I had to get a summer job to help pay for AAU and things like that, and I worked at a lumber mill.
Okay.
And every summer I'd go there, and either it was pulling off the green chain,
right,
or shoveling sawdust and those types of things. But growing up in a relatively religious family, I've always, it's been taught, and I always believe that hard work is rewarded.
Right.
And so that's been true in my life, and I think that kind of relates to our program, is that we want to establish that culture of hard work and doing things on your own time, and putting in that extra amount of repetitions or whatever to gain confidence.
Now you've coined the term mayhem,
Yeah.
for the type of defense you play. Now, does that apply to your life as well too, or is it just a style of how you live and how you play?
I think it maybe there's some crossover. I think I'm a pretty intense guy, and like to have a good time, and I think with our team too, we always try to make sure that we set aside time, and it doesn't necessarily to be fun, but to really focus on what our mission is.
Right.
And for me, yeah, I think when you're a head coach, you walk into the building, and especially in a market like Anchorage, you get pulled in a bunch of different directions right away. You're shaking hands and kissing babies,
right,
and making sure that the program has a positive face. But at the end of the day, yeah, Mayhem is our defense, and it's full court all game long, and I think it's a easy style to recruit to, and a fun style to play.
Now, talk about Alaska. I mean, everybody knows the Greatest Catch. That's Alaska, right? That's not Maine. Okay, Greatest Catch, Alaska. There's a couple other shows on the Discovery Channel. Like, talk about this Alaska. I don't see what it means to you, but why do people come to play at Alaska? And I think you outdraw the men as well too, right?
Yeah, we outdraw the men, and we outdraw every men's team in our league. I think Alaska's a special place. I think I've been to a lot of states, and there's 3 states that I think are extremely prideful, and that's Alaska, Hawaii, and Texas.
Mm-hmm. I want to stop. Did you notice how he said Hawaii? He said Hawaii. I mean, this is definitely someone who's been there a lot.
Yeah, we recruit out of Hawaii a lot, and getting to be from Alaska. I was born there. I was born right across the street from where I coach.
Okay.
And it's a state that you have to be tough to live in. You got to be okay with it being a little bit dark in the wintertime and cold. And that's what we tell all the recruits. All those stories, most of them are over the top, but some of it's true. And you got to be tough to live there, and you got to be tough to play for me. And you know, it's a really beautiful state. There's nowhere like it, and the culture of the state, there's nowhere like it. You know, it's big enough you can fit 2.5 Texases inside of Alaska. So
Texas is huge.
There's a lot of ground to cover.
Now, you mentioned some toughness. Is that part of your leadership? Like, you know, we talk a lot about leadership on Be Contagious.
Yep.
Talk about leadership, how you lead. I know toughness is a big part of it, but leadership is becoming so thin. It's not happening a lot, and people aren't being taught how to be leaders.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from accountability. You know, I think we talk so much about this generation and the millennials and things like that. You know, to me, when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about anything. I just did what I was told to do, and, you know, I was held to a certain standard. And I think that was the adults. I'm successful because of the role models that I had in my life, and the leaders that I had in my life got me to this point, or helped me establish those habits. And now we have this, everyone's blaming this generation on kids. Well, they don't know anything about anything. And they're trying to be good kids. They're trying to do what's right, and they're trying to do, you know, they're trying to please people and things like that. So to me, it's our fault. And if we don't hold them to the standards that will create greatness or create leadership, create toughness, you know, like we're talking about, then how can we expect them to achieve those marks? So yeah, I think mine is toughness. I tell every recruit, you know, when you come play for me, you're going to have a huge advantage because you're going to be tougher than anyone. And, you know, part of it's where we live, you know, and with that you have great reward. Right. You play on a stage that's unique. It's unlike any other. All your games are televised. You know, you are a superstar. But you know, things will be tough. You know, practice will be tough. There will be a lot demanded of you. And so, you know, I think when you develop that trust, you can make those demands. And I think when that happens and they can meet those demands, then they can become great in any kind of area, leadership or playing ability or whatever.
Right. That developing that trust, that piece you said right there, it could be the most important thing. Because I agree with you. I mean, people won't go to battle with you or for you if they don't trust that you have them. Is there something you do specifically to build their trust?
You know, I just think invest time. You know, ask them about their day, joke around with them, and make it meaningful. You know, I don't talk to my players because I know that it benefits me somehow. I talk to them because I genuinely care, and I love the game of basketball, and that's like a bridge that we have together, where regardless of what their background is or regardless of where they come from, we have one thing that we both love in common, and my job is to teach them to use that as a tool to get to where they want to be.
That's powerful, because I think that you found the one common bond, and then you go ahead and feed into that, and this way you bring it all together. Now, does that work with your staff as well too? I know you're pretty close to your staff.
Yeah, my staff's special. You know, part of it is you're up there and you're you know, alone a little bit in some ways, but you know, I think it creates that bond. And my staff this year happens to be all Alaskan, so we have a lot of different things in common that way. But the most important thing I think we have in common in terms of, you know, outside of just loving basketball is we love our team, and you know, we want to do what's best for them.
Now listen, I know you got to catch a flight. I got 2 more questions. The first one I think is the most important one. When they make the Ryan McCarthy movie, all right, who is going to play you?
Oh boy. I think the most we could do, man, this is a great question. This is like, I couldn't even think of Ashton Kutcher, because he's played like almost every kind of like autobiography.
I think that would be good.
He's much more handsome than I am, but maybe people would be confused on.
All right, we got Ashton Kutcher. All right, then the last question is, Be Contagious, we really believe in order to be successful, and you're very successful, is that you have to fall in love with something. It could be a process, it could be the way things are, it could be one thing, it could be 5 things. What are you in love with?
The journey. You know, I think that I think there's a process to a lot of things, and that there's a lot of reward in that, but I think that, you know, when you play college basketball or when you're in coaching, it's a journey. There was 6 years ago, I was sitting in a copy room at Northwest Nazarene University, wondering if I was supposed to coach or if I'd ever make enough money to for it to be a living, and wonder if I was worthy enough or to lead my own program, which was my ultimate goal. And honestly, coaching at the University of Alaska Anchorage was a pie in the sky to me. And so when I had the opportunity to take over, you have those doubts and things like that, but just the journey along the way to be able to see where the program is at now and the things that I've got to do through coaching compared to 6 years ago, having been a former professional player, moving into a copy room as my office. It's really cool to kind of reflect and then share those experiences with people that are wanting to get in the profession or student athletes that, once you get out of college, you kind of lose your identity.
Right.
And so just to share with them, like, it's all part of the journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, that's powerful stuff, man. You are the light and you are contagious, brother. You got it. We'll send all the social media outlets for Coach. But I'm telling you, I've been in Alaska 4 times. It's an unbelievable place. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Be Contagious. Hopefully you gained some valuable lessons because I certainly did. Do me a favor, there's boxes all over the place, but go ahead and click this button right here. It's yellow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have over 60 plus videos that can help you get to another level. Want to join the Be Contagious movement? Click on the box right up there with the letters A, B, and C. Sign up for our newsletter so that every single month you can go ahead and get the juice you need to be contagious for the people around you. And don't forget, click this box right here for some more great footage, advice, nuggets, or just someone to talk to on one of our many great videos on Always Be Contagious. Remember, you are great, you are a light, and you have the power to be contagious for the people around you.